little bit about running blind retrieves and key things to be thinking about when you're doing it. I'm going to bring Quinn out here in a second, but real quick, do me a favor, click subscribe. Also jump on patreon.com/Lone Duck Outfitters for more tips, happy hours, have a beer with me, let's talk dog training and all good things dogs there. But first, we're going to talk about running a blind retrieve. Now, a couple things I want you to think about when we're running a blind. We've got terrain features out here. It's a little bit rolling. We've got brush piles. We've got holding blinds set up. We've got keyholes, and a keyhole is when two trees or hedgerows or bushes are like this, and you want the dog to run through it. Typically, when you do that, the dog's gonna hook left, hook right, instead of dig straight through it, so we teach that. So we've got great terrain features, cover changes, dirt roads. All these things are going to affect the dog's line to the blind, okay? So when you're setting up blinds, that's what we want to look at. I don't want to make it easy and have them run down the road. I want them to angle across the road. I want them to hit the road, get off the road, get back on the road, whatever. Or I want them to take that piece of cover, or I want to get in between that keyhole with the holding blind and that bush. We also want to look at our background, okay? So let's take a look here. If you can see me and I give a cast up against this backlit, right? Or I'm backlit. If I'm wearing this white jacket, and actually I already ran a bunch of blinds and some of the dogs in the beginning couldn't see me for jack. And so I had Marie run out there on the four-wheeler and I did this and she goes, you can't see her hand. So I put a different shirt on. All of a sudden when I did this, she could see me great. So before you push the button because they did a wrong cast, take a look behind you. What is that dog seeing? Maybe my dog trailer is shining in the sun and it's blinding the dog and I'm trying to do this and they're getting blinded. I'm not popping to them. So when you're in the duck blind, what does that dog see? You're full camo, it's dark, you're in the shadows, tough to see you. So make sure you can be seen when you're giving casts before you give corrections, okay? All right, I think that's kind of it. Let's get a dog out and send it. All right, cool, we got old Quinn out here. She's going to be our test dummy on these blinds. She's about 2.5 years old now and pretty dang sporty, but she's also, I guess what we might see is my straight right backs are like real tight up here. She's been changing too much direction. So anyways, I digress. But a couple tools of the trade, right? My whistle. I use a Sport Dog P-less whistle. I don't like the P in the whistle because it'll trill and it gets real squirrely on the frequency. And then sometimes it gets stuck and you'll be like, tweet. And the dog's like, well, I guess I don't have to set. Or like it's weird. So P-less whistle, super cool. Or you've seen some of those like mega whistles, those are good too. But I steer clear from anything with a P in it because it'll freeze up when you're hunting and sticks. The second thought, I got my old Dog Edge RT here. It's on nice and snug. I know it's on. Don't go to the field with your collar turned off. Always check it, hit that vibrate button before you put it on the dog. I know it's working. The other key thought, this and this are in my hand as I'm lining the dog up to send it, okay? So you don't want to be that guy or gal who has it in their back pocket. Your collar doesn't work if it's in your back pocket. And this doesn't work when you're like, oh my gosh, it's screwing up. You hear that? Is that in your ear right now? And that's really annoying and doesn't work. Have it in your hand, have the collar in your hand. So when you send that dog off, you're ready. You've got your collar ready and you got your whistle ready to make anything happen, okay? So don't be fooling or trying to find your whistle. Now, let's talk about lining a dog up, okay? I'm gonna run that blind first. The key features, they gotta go down this little mound. They've gotta hit this little bump. It's kind of hard to see probably on the video. And then there's a road. It's just what everybody's truck drives. And they've gotta get in the road and hold their line out of the road. And then as they do that, there's patches of cover. So strip of cover here, short. Strip of cover here, short. And dogs will do dog things. They'll hit that road and veer off hard right where that road takes them. Or they'll hit that patch of cover, and when I give a straight left back, all of a sudden they're in that short piece and she'll take a hard left instead of angling across the cover. So those are some things I'm going to be thinking about. I also am hugging pretty tight to a tree out there and then hugging real tight to that brush pile. So that'll be cool. And then we'll come around here and run 2 more blinds. Now, lining the dog up. Back to that. Here. Sit. Tail, spine, head. All pointing in the direction I want the dog to go. If she's here, sit. Her body is lined up this way. Her head's lined up this way. She's probably going to do one of these, and it is now goofy offline. So here, heel, sit. Kind of give a little look-ski. Tail, spine, here. Sit, good. Head, good right there. Back. Oh, look at, I broke my own rule. Second thought, as I'm running this blind, watch my casts. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Atta girl. I'm not casting fast and erratic. Everything is nice and slow. Slow. That dog can take time and see me. The faster you move, the faster they're getting the heck out of there, okay? And then they make a bad decision because they're rushing because you're rushing. I'm also not yelling. Sit. I'm also not yelling. Verbal casts drive a dog. We've talked about it on our podcast, Lone Ducks Gun Dog Chronicles. We've talked about it a lot on our podcast where the difference between silent casts and verbal casts, so I'm not going to get into it, I guess, here. So go check out the podcast. But verbal casts drive a dog. So if they're going in the wrong direction, this way, and I want them to go this way, and I yell back, she's going to go, oh, crap, I'm still going this way. So in that instance, I'm going to break her momentum. I might call her towards me just a hair and get my cast, or tweet, maybe a little stimulation, get my cast, whatever, for the cast refusals. But a big verbal right there is going to drive the dog, and it's going to drive them in the wrong direction, okay? And you notice, I don't think I gave a verbal at all there. Everything was silent, everything was quiet, everything was slow and steady, and she did a really nice job. Here, heel, sit. The next thing, if you notice what I'm doing here, good. I'm putting my hand down just gently. I'm not lining them up here doing this. She is not, look at her head, well, she sort of looked, but she's not lining up on this at all. So if you see someone do that, they're doing it wrong, okay? We don't line up with our hand like, no, over here, come here, no, here. I use my body, my hips, my legs, and my verbal cues that I've taught the dog. So it'd be here, good. Heel, good. Here, sit, good. Here, good. Right? So I'm pulling and pushing with heel, pulling with here. I don't want that butt to come up and make big movements. I want little tiny movements, little just minute fractions of movements once their tail, spine, and now I'm just getting that head right. So this, no, don't do that. Don't be that person, okay? The second thought, the shoving them off. I don't have a term for it, I just came up with it. We're shoving them off. We're throwing that hand out there. If I've got a dog focused at 300 yards, 200 yards, 100 yards, 50 yards, 10 yards, however far they're focused, and they're looking out and they're like, oh yeah, baby, look at that, that's what I want. And they see, come by their head, their peripheral vision, their focus is now gonna be off of what you were just trying hard to focus them on, and now they're focused on this junk. So I just put my hand down and say the B word. All right, here, let's do it again. Heel. All right, we got a blind over here. Here, sit. Here, sit, good. Now I've got my tail, spine, looking where I want. Head, good, good. Back. Taking a great initial line. No, no. Good. Beauty. All right, so she did something called an auto cast. That's super naughty. So I blew the whistle. She sat. I nicked. I told her, no, 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 whatever. Gave my cast. Good to go. So again, I'm not sending this way all goofy. Here. There was something else I was going to say, and then she auto casted like a jerk. Here. No, no. Right here. Set. Good. I also have a cadence. So as I'm lining them up, I'm convincing them that they're running out into no man's land. They have no idea what's going on out here. They see tons of junk out in the field that they've got to think about. And so I'm at a blind retrieve. I'm saying, yeah, you're looking in the right spot. Good. Go there. And so if you just come up and say, yep, back, or whatever, or you change it up on them, that's going to take away a little bit of confidence, okay? So I have a cadence. No, set, good. Set, good. No, here. Set, here. Back. Another thing, as she's about to get the bumper, is a lot of folks, the dog will come in, boom, sit, and they're already casting. Make sure the dog is focused on you. Make sure the dog is thinking about you. Make sure the dog sees you. Then give your cast, okay? Good girl. Here. I'm thinking about running a really, really long one, but while I'm running a blind, it's kind of hard to think, so bear with me. Set. So the dog is running out there, turns and looks at me. I'm waiting. We're making eye contact, me and you, baby, and I cast, okay? Now, you've got the other folks out there, here, that take a step towards the dog and push their hand out in front of them. At 100 yards, this doesn't look like anything. This does, or this does, okay? So we're not making forward progress towards that dog. We might take a step and make lateral. Again, when they're far away from you, your silhouette is what they see. So it's got to make sense to them. Moving towards them, that depth perception is kind of weird. Now, we've talked about in the past, we're moving, you know, like you follow the dog out while they're running the blind. That's different. I'm talking about tweet, dog turns and looks at me and I go like this. No good, bud. No good. We want to go straight up, angle, 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 angle to an over, or tweet, 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 come on in, tweet, 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 come on in. But I'm creating movement with everything that I'm doing, okay? So those are some key things to think about when you're actually running a blind. This isn't about teaching the dog how to run a blind. This is things that as a handler will make you better and make your dog better at running blinds. Remember, do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful, click subscribe, jump onto our patreon.com/Lone Duck Outfitters. Join us on Instagram @Lone Duck, and maybe you'll see a little bit more of me and Quinn, baby. Thanks for tuning in.